talk about the economy is stupid. They're saying it is the teaching stupid. And I'm going to offer you a solution here in a minute that'll knock you out of your chairs. Now, David Gula has written about counterinsurgency theory and practice on June 2006. One of our generals said, okay, I'll go to Iraq. General Petraeus, you remember the name? My son, Lieutenant Commander of the United States Navy, worked with General Petraeus in Baghdad. When General got there, he looked around and said, whoa, wait a minute. Shock and awe is not doing the job. We need to change our doctrine here. This is crazy. We're losing the war. Because we thought shock and awe was the way to do it, i.e. we do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's what we do in education. The same thing over and over again, expecting to get different results, and we're not getting them. We're going downhill fast. And he said, wait a minute, we changed the entire manual for the United States Marines. He came back to the United States. I think it was Fort Lejeune. He went to work and said, okay, we got to do something about this. And he wrote the whole manual, went back, and we put a surge in there, and we started winning the war. The Frenchman that gave him the information, let me read what the Frenchman had to say and see if you think it might fit education. If the individual member of an organization were of the same mind, whoa, when's the last time the teachers got together to decide? I teach on Palomar College, we have 100 speech teachers, and I don't have the foggiest idea what my counterparts are doing. Nothing. We've never met. And I've been there for 5 years. They don't know what I'm doing. But I must be doing something right to keep me there. That's about the only reason. If they were of the same mind, if every organization worked according to a standard pattern, the problem would be solved. Think about that. You're married, you and your wife are pulling together, you get the job done. But if you're pulling apart, you don't get the job done. You're kind of bickering all the time. Sometimes wives compete with their husbands. You're not pulling in the same direction. You take care of the kids. No, you do this, you do that. No, I'm not going to do that. They argue all over the place. But when you come together as a team and you are of the same mind and you're moving in the same thing, same direction, things get done. I say behind every great man is a great woman. There's my wife sitting right back there. We've been married for 40 years, and when I do something like this, she's typed it up. I look good because of her. And I give her credit for that. And gentlemen, I have learned to say in my 40 years of marriage, yes, dear. Got it, gentlemen? Yes, dear. That's of the same mind. The problem would be solved. Is this not precisely what a coherent, well understood, and accepted doctrine would tend to achieve? Would solve the problem. More than anything else, the doctrine appears to be a practical answer to the problem of how to channel efforts in a single direction. Wouldn't it be nice if we did that in the state of California? Wouldn't it be nice if we could look at the federal government and say, hey, get out of our face. We need to be able to do it on the local level. And we look at the state of California and their 100,000-page manual and say, wait a minute, why don't you keep that thing? We're going to bring it back here to this community, and the people in this community are going to do some things in education. And I'll show you in a minute what they do. The Alliance for Excellence in Education on February 2009 had this to say. Now hear it and hear it well, folks. 7,000 students a day are dropping out of education. That's 2 every minute. I'll speak for about 15 minutes. That's about 30 people in just the amount of time that I've talked here that are dropping out of school. Where do they go? They go into the situations of welfare. They go into our jails. I am a chaplain in our jails. 86% of all the people in our jails are dropouts from high school. 86% in all of our state penitentiaries. And where do they end up? In jail, on the streets, doing all sorts of crime. And you're paying for it. The Program for International Student Assessment, I said this before, effective teachers are the most controllable factor. And I pointed out what the heart of the problem is. Where is it? It seems to be in teaching. Well, how does this affect you? You pay taxes? Yeah, you pay taxes. What are we doing in California? Let's raise the taxes. What are we doing on the federal government? Let's raise the taxes. And we have the program, no student left behind. Remember that program? No Kid Left Behind? That is destroying education all over the country. Because what they're doing in New York with that program, they're lowering the standard to 38%, and we look good. Where Mississippi is 55%, they don't look as good. California is 62%, they don't look as good either. All they're doing is manipulating the scale. You're in my class. A B is so many numbers. But I'm going to lower it to 40%. We all got B's. But what happened to the quality of what we're doing? We're messing up our educational system. And how does it affect you? You're paying taxes for this thing, and you don't even control it. What do you have to say about the National Education Association? Nothing. So what is the solution? All right, here it comes. Number one, you are here because you're part of the Tea Party. This isn't a massive number of people in your community, which suggests the enthusiasm isn't all that high, but most of us in our communities are reactive people. Reactive, what does that mean? That means we blew the hell out of Pearl Harbor, knowing full well that it was about to happen. But we had to get the people excited, and we got them excited, and on it goes. And what did Churchill say? He said, this is going crazy with this crazy man Hitler. And what Chamberlain said, he came back with the white paper, and he said, no, don't worry about it. Everything's going to be wonderful. He ate the paper. When they marched into Poland, and 20 million people later, we said, damn it, we should have done something earlier. Get this. When the French, the Maginot Line was set up, they had 105 divisions. Stay with me now. 105 divisions. Hitler marched into Poland with 47 divisions. Poland wasn't prepared. They had a 1 million-man army, but they were riding around on horses. Horses don't work very well with tanks. But they went into Poland. They had 37 divisions remaining in Germany. And we announced through Churchill, French, move on them. Take care of those 38 divisions, the war is over. The French marched 5 miles and stopped with 105 divisions against 38. We're reactive, and we're looking at education in the same way. We are reactive. We have to become proactive. When you're proactive, you're looking for a situation. Here's a classic example. Planes flying over my home. They're flying over a high school. 3,000 students are in that high school. And I'm saying, drop a plane in that high school, and you're going to take out about 200 of them, and you're going to destroy another 150. And what are you going to do? You're going to say, I'm sorry. I wrote to our supervisor, and I said, I'd hate to be in the position where you're standing up in front of a group of people and saying, I'm sorry. We should have done something about that. They didn't. I went to a meeting and talked to the people. I said, wait a minute. They said, we haven't had a plane crash in 60 years. I said, it don't matter. Only takes one. We had one over here with an F-18. You remember that one? I went down. We have friends that live a mile from there. That plane didn't have to crash, but it did. Because somebody got mixed up. And what did they say to all the people that remained? I'm sorry. And they're still saying it. Not proactive. We need to be proactive in education. I'm just about at the solution. What's the first step of my 4-point solution? All right, get ready for it. To get the conservative voice on boards of trustees. You're sitting right here, right now. I tried to start a charter school in Fallbrook. I went to the board of trustees with the elementary district. We had 1 conservative and 4 liberals. And I made the presentation for a charter school. I had $800,000 in the bank, I had a building, I had administrators, and I was ready to go. All they had to do was say, yay. And they would come once a month to evaluate my school. And that's it. And they get 3% of the ADA. We got less ADA than the regular schools did. But guess what they did? One gentleman on the board, I watched him, leaned over to another one and said, do they have to pay tuition for going to those charter schools? And I thought to myself, my God, I'm here with a bunch of retards. They don't even know what a charter school is, and they're voting on it. They voted us down because we did not have the conservative voice there. I went to the county, which was even worse. Staff, not the board. They don't want to have that nasty name. Staff voted us down, 4-1. Then I went to the state of California and said, wait a minute, we have to have